Hello, I'm Debbie Bell Hosking, speaking to you from EBAday 2022 in Vienna, and I'm joined by Rossana Thomas of Fiserv. We're chatting about modernization and regulation. Rossana, hello.
Hello.
Isn't this great?
This is fabulous. It's the first live conference in a long time. It's just amazing to see so many people engaged in discussing the future of payments. Our stand has been packed pretty much the full day, so it's just been really exciting to get that energy again about payments in the future.
Well, talking about payments, the future, chatting to people, we do hear people say that modernization is easier in Europe because of the regulation in comparison to the market-driven US. Do you agree, having made that transition to Europe?
It's always an interesting question to look at these two diverse regions. I'd say it's going to depend. So in Europe, the regulation has helped spur at a macro level, but I do think that because of some of the domestic the nuances that you lose the standardization. But in the U.S. with the market-driven, it kind of forces the infrastructures, and we can use real-time payments as an example. You have the clearinghouse and you have the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve really looked at bringing all bodies together to really get to what a solution needed to be to meet the market's needs, and also champion interoperability. So I do think that if you bring the regulators in and you engage and have a very inclusive environment, having that dialogue and having the market drive it does provide a better solution.
So talking about better solutions, so let's fine-tune that a bit more in terms of your thoughts on a regulatory approach towards modernization.
So I think that institutions with the market infrastructures and the regulators and looking at this have to look beyond just what the regulation is requiring, right? Because we get too kind of focused on that regulation and we forget all of the impact that it has and all of the potential that it can help drive, the opportunities. And so if we only look at the regulations in the challenges and not the opportunities, we miss a great deal. So look, I'll use the example of moving to the ISO. There's so much potential with the ISO, and the regulation of moving to that helped build the business case for some of it. So it helps the banks look at modernizing their technology and what do they need to do to be ready. And as change is happening and regulation is happening so much quicker, they really need to look at how the regulation and their modernization can work hand in hand. Because you want to be able to address these changes quicker and be able to not have a lot of disruption while you're trying to meet the regulatory changes that are coming. They're coming faster, and it's, there's just too much of a demand to move. So you really need to make sure your infrastructure and that all the parties that are involved in that change, because it's not just an operational change, it could be a product changes need to be done, security changes. It involves a number of areas.
Now let's talk about your clients. So the word you've used many times in the last minute or so is the word change. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of change in payments. There's equally plenty of talk about regulation. So how do you help your clients navigate this area?
So the one beauty about Fiserv is that we really see the whole end-to-end with all of our products and solutions. So that is really a benefit for us. Our Enterprise Payments Platform is part of our Treasury and Commercial and Surround Solutions group. So we see from the user digital front end all the way through to the back end operations. So you see all the different components. And that's where I say that the changes that are coming is really important for the banks to understand how that change impacts every area of the bank. Again, if you're so siloed and you look at just your piece of the world when the regulation happens, you miss opportunities and you miss understanding what the end-to-end experience for your clients is going to be and how you can help them, how you can help your end users really adjust to any of the changes that are there.
So you're talking about adjusting to changes, but what about those financial institutions who just don't know how to start, but they know they need to change? What's your advice?
So I would advise them to first understand where they are and what their end game, what the plan is for them. So strategically, once you know where you want to be, that at least gives you the direction. these transformations, these changes are not quick. And they really need to look at identifying how they want to start. So in some cases they start because of a regulatory change. They say there's an opportunity now to take that regulatory change and make that basically the foundation for where we want to go with our technology infrastructure, our modernization, and our products and services. And then from that, how they look to build upon it. And that's why I say it's important that you can't look at this as a back office operational change or a front office end user change. You have to understand how that change impacts the solution from end to end, because that will help drive what you can do to either be more efficient, to modernize so that you can quickly adjust, or what you have to do to help your clients be better prepared to navigate in any of the regulatory changes that you're required to make.
Wow, Rossana, thank you. That's a lot to digest and a lot of great advice. So we thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the financial institutions about some of the regulatory changes and how they can best meet these needs and grow their business, take the opportunity to leverage regulation to help them.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.